Hello. We're going to a Shadowbringers extreme fight. This is part of the side quest line of other trial fights in Shadowbringers. This one's Castrum Marinum Extreme. The other two in the series is the Cinder Drift and the next one, which is the Cloud Deck. For this fight, it took a bit to prog it. I've got like 5 other videos of like just prog, and so I went in and out a lot. And this particular video I think is just a clear video, but do know it took a while to get a group to be able to learn all the mechanics together, and then finally after like all these things I was able to get it clear. So just because I'm showing it all in one pool doesn't necessarily mean it's like easy. FYI. But we are picking clock spots here, and then in the party chat we discuss one of the mechanics we'll see where we will pair up. We'll pair up with each other, so like DPS and supports pair up and we soak some orbs together. I'll explain it once we see it, but this is one of those mechanics where there are many different ways you can handle it, and so it really depends on your particular party how you all handle that together. If people are using different strategies, then it can cause a wipe. Okay, and so for this particular group we did a particular configuration, and I'll explain it once we see it. Okay, main tank's gonna turn the boss north. This is also a minimum eye level no echo run, so we'll see most of the mechanics. Emerald Shot. This is gonna be a tank buster. Optimized Ultima as a raid wipe. Okay, so I'm kind of pre-positioning here with my partner. A Theroplasm production. This is going to generate orbs around the stage, and we will have to soak the orbs. See how they're all kind of tethered together here? If they hit each other, it will explode and, you know, both die. So we've got yellow orbs and we've got blue orbs. There's some, you know, on the other sides too. And we have to soak these orbs in a particular order. If you get hit with a yellow one, then you get a physical vulnerability. And then if you get hit with a blue one, you get a magic vulnerability. And so that means you have to alternate the color that you take. And it sounds simple enough. Just, you know, if you're gonna soak this one, then go soak that one. Don't go soak that one. But because this requires coordination with everyone else in the party, you have to find some strategy that will work out for you. So I'll just let this play out first and then explain what we decided to do. So with my partner, I went to soak one orb and then we died. Okay, so didn't play that out very much. We had people soak theirs over there. Okay, and it looks like they might not have had their partner in place. This person was supposed to go over here with this person as their partner. And then ours hit because we had that one. Extinction Impact. What is that one? It might be because we didn't take the orbs at the same time. So ideally you will pop the orbs at the same time. Oh yeah. Okay, so this one, when the tether broke, because this side and this side blew up theirs first. We didn't manage to blow up our orb on our own, it seems like. See, like, I was waiting for it to, like, come towards me, because they'll come towards you. With the tether situation, the orbs start moving towards each other. But it looks like if you don't step into it, if the tether is gone, it won't move, and so you have to step in yourself. But they ended up just exploding on their own without the tether. Let's read this thing. Colliding with an orb will cause it to detonate via broad AoE explosion that would damage from manually popped orbs. Right. And that the damage from manually popped orbs will need to be shared by 2 players simultaneously. Okay. Yeah. So you have to manually walk into it, and if you don't manually walk into it, it'll explode. And wait, why is this one still here? I think it is because we didn't actually walk into it fast enough. Okay, so they just blew up. I was waiting for it to explode first. So I think I walked into mine. See how this one is like this smaller size? So we got hit with the etheroplasm thingy, which is what I would expect to get hit with. But okay, just one more time and then we'll play it through. Okay. Yeah, these slowly move. But as soon as the other ones were soaked, it stops moving. Yeah, I think this blue one in the back is the one that did the bigger explosion. And I think that person over there was waiting for their partner to come over so they could soak the orbs together. Oh yeah, here we go. So see how my dome is like just this smaller size? Theirs over here was like radiating out, and I think that's what this bigger one is. Because they didn't soak the orb. So it was sitting there and explode by itself. Okay, so from that configuration, we can see already that this is a little bit tricky, right? Yeah, it looked like in one of the corners some people didn't have their partners set up, and this is one of the first mechanics you'll encounter in this fight, and it is where it's like a major prog point. If you can figure out this mechanic with your party, then you'll have a good chance of finishing the first phase of this fight. But this is when I was progging it. It took the longest amount of time to understand, and get people coordinated. So we do have these markers out here to kind of indicate where the orbs would be, and then we're using these to explain how, who is going to go where. And so for this group, we divided up, and so I'm in this corner, right? And so me and the tank that I was with, we would take whatever orb in the intracardinal one, and then if it was a yellow one, and then there's if it was a yellow one, then we would go soak a blue one next, but if the one next to it is also yellow, then we go the other way and go pick up the blue one over here. And what's tricky is just making sure that people aren't taking each other's orbs. And so that's something that the party has to figure out. Are we rotating clockwise or rotating counterclockwise? And that depends on what setup the orbs are. Okay, Emerald Shot is the tank buster. Oh, wait. Okay. All of which tether to the orbs are tethered to the emerald weapon, which is the boss, okay, and will slowly move towards the arena. If any orbs are left for too long, they will automatically detonate for lethal damage, forcing the raid to pop orbs manually. Okay, yeah, so that's what we saw. One of the orbs wasn't popped manually, and that's what wiped everybody. So this is the raid wide. And then up next, the orbs are gonna spawn. we're low-key pre-positioning into our intracardinal spots. Okay, so here's an orange one, sorry, orange, there's a yellow one, a blue one, a yellow one. Okay, so yellow, yellow, blue. Okay, so that means, try to catch it, most of them. Okay, there was a blue one here, okay? And so that means, for example, if this corner, in the strategy that we happen to use, you can use whatever strategy you want. For the strategy that we used, here's a yellow one, and this particular group can't take yellow next, and so that means they have to go this way to take a blue one, which means that the group over here would have to take this one, which then means whatever mine is, which is blue, we're not going to be able to take that because this group is going to take that one, and so we're going to go this way. So in this configuration, we are going to go clockwise to soak the orbs. And then for this group, for example, it is blue, and if they go clockwise, then it happens to be a yellow one, and so it works out in that way. Okay, and so it can be confusing with like, oh, okay, you start intracardinal and then you rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. If directions like that are confusing, I get it, like I struggle with that, but in my mind what I cared about was, I'm about to soak a blue one, I'm not gonna get another blue one, and there's a yellow one right next to me over here, so it's likely that that one's gonna be, that's the direction that I'm gonna go. So you soak this one, and what's important after you soak the orb is to run into the center. Like, you don't want to grab the next orb just yet. When you blow up one of the orbs, you get this magic vulnerability up, right? From the blue one, which is why we can't take another blue one. And if you get hit with the yellow one, you get a physical vulnerability, which is why you have to alternate them. But additionally to that, our health goes down because we're taking damage from that. And so you want to run close and get some heals in as much as you can, and then you go pop the next set of orbs. And if it works out, everyone should be alive. Everyone's physical vulnerability thing will be balanced so they don't actually die. Okay, so one more time. Orbs come out, like, some people, instead of doing intracardinal, they will do cardinals, and so they'll start with, like, if we were doing cardinals, then mine would be south, so I would likely pick up the south ones, right? If we're taking a look at this, there's a yellow one over here. So if I started, if me and my partner were gonna go south, and we picked up a yellow one, then that means what's next for us is we could pick up the blue one over here, this one, you know what I'm saying? And then this group, if they started here and they picked up a blue one, then the next thing would be the yellow one. They can't go this way to pick up a blue one again. And so again, it may seem confusing if there's so many directions to start with, but what's important is you don't pick up the same color, and you're going with a partner, and whatever your group decides to start with is what you should start with, so everyone breaks the same tethers of each other, and then you go back in for heals, and then you go break the next set. Communication is key here. Okay, this next mechanic, we've got cones, and this thing is rotating, and so that means this cone is going to start rotating that way, and so you want to line up with one of them and essentially just follow it. The thing is, there's also going to be this circle AoE that radiates outwards, and so as you're running clockwise to avoid getting hit with this cone, you have to like weave yourself in and out of this circle AoE because it's gonna start moving outwards. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. This takes a bit of practice. It's all about timing, especially if you want to maintain your uptime. See how the inner circle is like radiating outwards? So I'm following the cone and I'm weaving in and out of these circle AoEs that are radiating out. Okay, so after that, the outside of the stage is now blinking red. There's bars here. This is gonna explode, and then the stage will be smaller. And so at this point, there's no guardrails, so you can fall off the stage. So be careful at this point. Magitech Magnetism. This one's gonna have some bombs on the stage with AoEs, and we have to look at the polarities of them. There's gonna be red or orange, I don't know what color you would, red, orange, plus signs, and then there was a blue minus sign over there. You want to find the polarities that are the same, that are close to each other, that are the same, and stand between them. Because after a moment, they are going to bounce away from each other, because polarities like this, when it's the same, they go away. Okay? And if they are tethered opposite, that means they're going to go close together, because that's how magnets work. So when I see this, I'm going to go to the spot that's between them, and then both tanks are going to get flare markers. And usually how people handle this is the tanks will go closer to the magnets that there's just one magnet. See how there's like one AoE here, and there's two AoEs back here? Usually what I've seen is that the entire party will go hide in the spot with the two magnets that are gonna move away from each other, and then the tanks will go spread their flare markers up there. This can rotate into like different orientations on the stage, and so you have to look at the magnets, like relative to the magnets, not relative to like north, south, or anything. Okay. If a tank is dead, then somebody else will get it, by the way. That happened to me in one of the progs, where I got a tank died because of the merry-go-round AoE thing, and then I happened to get the flare, and so I ran up here. But anyway, we'll see this, okay? See how there's like that little chirping noise, and there's a tether with these plus signs. When the thing is done chirping, counting down, they split up and explode. Okay, so it happens pretty fast. You have time to run into it, but the animation itself is kind of fast. Trying to catch it. See? So there we go. When the countdown is done, these magnets move away from each other, and then that means the circle AoEs kind of move away too. So that's why this is our safe spot. And then this AoE that was in the front, just sitting by itself, it blows up by itself over there. And then the tanks have their little flare marker in the corners by themselves. Okay, so that's how that situation happens. We'll have some other variations of the bombs, so we'll take a look at that. You'll get hit with damage, but as long as you're not in the actual AoE, you should be okay. Okay, Magitech Magnetism again. So here we've got these bombs, okay? And we'll look at the tethers for them. So this one's a plus sign and this one's a negative. And so that means they're gonna move together once the countdown's done. And then over here we have a positive, and whatever this one is on this side, it's probably also a positive. Because typically you're gonna have two that are gonna move away from each other. And so it was a positive, so I moved over here. And then we want to stand in between the two of them, so because they're going to move away, just like the other one. Okay, see that? I'll try to stop it in time. Didn't really catch it very well, but this one moved over, this one moved over, and then these ones here moved closer. Okay. So then they blew up. Let's just do it one more time. So the ones over here, the further ones, are going to move closer, and the one I'm standing on over here, they're going to separate. And so even though I'm literally standing on the AoEs right now, I am going to end up being safe because they moved apart. I'm totally going to catch it. One more time. Yeah, well, it's close enough. Okay, so see, like I was standing here. And so this one moved over. This one moved over. And then these over here got closer. And so that's why you want to find the same polarities that will push away from each other, and that's your safe spot. Immediately after that, we've got this rotating thing again. So figure out which way it's rotating, and I think it's a lot easier to go run up against the one that's moving in that direction, like behind here. So I'm chasing it as opposed to being chased by this one, you know what I'm saying? So I try to run up closer. But also remember the circle AoE from the middle. That's going to keep flaring outwards. So you gotta weave yourself through that whole thing. Try to stay a little bit closer to the boss instead of running all the way out here. I'm ranged, so it doesn't matter as much in terms of like being able to hit the boss, but I feel like it's more controlled if I can stay closer so I don't accidentally fall off. And then also this outer ring is going to explode, so that's also why I want to stay a little closer. Optimize Ultimas or Wave Life. Okay. Here, these arms go out, okay? For this first one, if the arms stay out, then it's gonna be a donut AoE. If the arms go back into the boss, then it's gonna be a circle AoE. But from what I have seen and experienced, the first time this happens, it's always gonna be go inside the hitbox for the donut AoE. Like, it's one of those things where they show you the mechanic first, and then they'll show you the variation of it, and then the next time it's like random, like that. So it was inside there. Okay, this divide period, this is the tank buster stack thing. Okay. Oh, while that's happening too though, everybody else wants to spread, because the tanks get hit with their thing, but everyone else also gets hit with AoE blast. See, there we go. And if you're stacking up with somebody else, you might die. I think that happened to me. Like, we all bunched up and yeah, but you want to spread for that. Okay, so the arms did go into the bot, but that was the end of that mechanic kind of rotation, and so you don't have to worry about that. But that's what it looks like when the arms kind of go back inside. It looks similar to this. Okay, split means the weapon's gonna go away. Okay, so the top part just flew off, and the bottom part is left on the bottom here. Expire is going to be a donut I'm sorry, not a donut, a circle AoE. underneath the boss. And so with Expire, you want to go outside and stay far outside. Like, see, it's kind of it's a pretty big AoE. So Expire is on the outside, okay? And that's when it splits and the legs are left behind. Okay. Here we've got this red puddle. You want to get away from the red puddle, like away, because it's gonna get bigger and then explode. Okay, and then here the top part came back. Okay, so now the little arms came out. All right, so we'll see if it's gonna be a donut or a circle AoE. Okay, the arms are still hanging outside, and so it's probably gonna, oh no, they went inside real quick. Okay, it's like this moment of anxiety pausing, but they did go inside, and so that means it's gonna do a circle AoE, so I ran outside. There we go. Okay, looks like you take a decent amount of damage and you get a blown up if you get hit with that. Magitech Magnetism. So again, we're gonna look for the ones that have the same polarity, except for this variation, we've got some people tagged with markers. Okay, so negative, positive, that means these are gonna go together. And so it's a good chance it's gonna be these two that are the same, and therefore they move away from each other. But these markers need to be baited away because they will do line AoEs towards the people with the marker. So you want to bait those away, and like you have time. Like you've got a bit of a countdown before these things explode. So bait your marker away and then go hide with everybody else in the safe spot. So I waited till I saw the telegraph, and then I went over, and then I was able to go to the safe spot with everyone else. Unfortunately, this person didn't make it, so they also had the telegraph. Yeah, okay, so they ran this way instead, whereas it was that way. Did Elsie also have it? Oh, I think Elsie stayed here. Oh wait, Elsie was the one that had the thing. I think maybe both of them standing so close together, they might have thought it was theirs. But in any case, I dropped mine and then I moved out. So like this person ran this way to the spot, but I think this other person, oh yeah, Elsie also had a sprint. This other person here, the Reaper, ended up going this way instead. So they got caught in the explosion. Yeah, we did it. I think some people like jumped off the stage. I'm not sure what that was all about. But here is a little phase transition. Oops. I think for this fight, I had progged it for a while. And then like a few days or something, like every now and then whenever I saw it in Party Finder. And then this one particular day, I was going in and this group was like pretty dedicated to trying to finish it. And I was like, I gotta go to class in like an hour, but I'll stay until my class. And then they're like, okay. So I think we did a whole instance, and then I was like, alright, I gotta go. And then they put Party Finder back up. And after I finished my class, I logged back in and I was like, I wonder if they cleared or if they didn't. But then after a bit, I saw their Party Finder back up and I was like, oh, they didn't clear. Oh, that's sad. But also, I'm gonna join back in. Like, I want to get the clear. So that was kind of, so that's this footage. This is after I finished my class and I was like, yeah, let me keep trying because I had progged this so much. I really just wanted to finish the fight. But okay, so this part, this is the second phase of the fight, and everyone's like jumping to their death right now just so they could reset like the health and all these things. But you want to attack the boss a few times, at least once, but I always do a few times just for good measure, to make sure that you actually reset in this second part of the fight. So we also reset so that we can change the markers from the first phase to this phase. There are some markers that make this a little bit easier. We've got pairs here, pairs here, pairs here. There's a particular mechanic where it just makes it a little bit easier to handle if you have the markers set out. And then we maintain our clock spots that we had chose from the beginning. And here I think we're kind of discussing strategies for a bit. And let's see what else. Yeah, we were just talking about strategy and whatnot, and then we just went in for the kill. So main tank pulls the boss north. And then this one, the Divide at Impera, is the tank buster, but remember in the last phase, during that the shared tank buster, everyone also had a little spread AoE thing. And so it's kind of similar here. We want to stay spread, but instead of being a circle AoE, it's like these little cone things. Okay, so you want to spread those out. Okay, this mechanic, Primus Terminus Est, some people are going to get these arrows. Depending on what direction the arrow's pointing will be the direction you get knocked back into. Technically it's not a knockback because you don't get knocked backwards, but it definitely pushes you around the stage. Okay, so mine is pointing this way. That means once this thing is done casting, I'm gonna go shooting that way. You can't, I don't believe you can use knockback prevention for this. And if you go into this blue stuff on the outside, then you'll die. And so if I have this arrow, I'm going this way, this person is going to go that way, this person is going to go that way, and this person is going to go that way, like that, okay? And so this is where the markers come into play to help people figure out where to stand. Because ideally you will stand along the edge of the stage, so when you get punted across the stage, you don't get into the blue thing. So because I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go find a side where I can stand that will be out of the way of other people. And so up here, if I position myself up here, I'm gonna go across the stage this way, and it will leave the center clear. Okay, so this person is gonna go along that side. This person is gonna go this way. I am gonna go this way, and then whoever possibly there's a few people over there, they're gonna go this way. Okay, and that leaves the middle safe for the people who don't have those markers. And so here it looks like all the DPS have the markers, but the two tanks don't. So by having these markers out and just helping people figure out where they're gonna stand, I think made it a little bit more clean. There we go. See, so we zoom across. If you're standing too close to somebody else, like if we were here and mine went like this and this went like if you get hit with multiple of these things, you're likely gonna die because you get this physical vulnerability thing. Okay, so generally whenever you get a physical vulnerability or a vulnerability up for like anything, if you get hit twice, you'll take the damage of both the things, but then the second one will hit even harder than that. Okay. Tertius Terminus S. I think this is the difficult one. We have AoEs that are going to drop. and it's gonna be in 3 sets. So this is the first set, this is the second set on these sides, and then this is the third set. When these drop, you don't want to stand in this, they're going to turn into this sword that points down, and then it will show a direction, an X or a plus sign. Okay, so this one's an X, but it could possibly be a plus sign. And when it blows up, it will expand like this. So it's going to be a huge thing. And since this was part of the set too, this one's going to explode like this, and it's going to go like this. So there's 2 X's like that, okay? And the other sets of stuff, like there was the one in that corner and one in the other corner, that's also going to have its own thing. And then this third set is also going to have its own X or plus sign configuration. And the situation here is you have to figure out how to dodge all of it. And it can be very confusing and nerve-wracking, but what happened here is this cast is going out, right? We're waiting. The first one goes out, and we're kind of hanging out here first, and then people are positioning themselves so that they can move into this first set once it explodes. Okay. Knowing that this is an X, that's fine. It's gonna explode at some point. But the last set right here, the last one, is gonna be a plus sign. Yeah, I'll change it to a different color. It's gonna hit like this, and then this one is from this, hit like this. So this is the very last one. And so that's why people were waiting here for this one to explode, and then you go into this safe spot. Okay. If, for example, this one was instead also an X, then this blows up, and then whatever the number 2 does, okay, but then if you go into this spot and then this one blows up, then you're gonna get hit with this one. And so that's why it's important to look at what the third one is also going to be. The thing is, if this one in this corner was a plus sign, it would probably just reach like this far. And so it's still okay to go into the first safe spot over here. I'm not sure if that makes sense. We're gonna see it a few times, so I can try explaining it again. But we'll start here again. So again, there's different strategies for like everything, right? This is just how I have understood it. The first one goes down, and then the second one's on the sides. It can be in a different configuration too. The middle one could be the second one, by the way. But in this part, the second ones are over here. I'm keeping an eye on the first ones though. It's an X shape, so if we wait here or here, should be okay. And then the very last one, it's gonna go like this, and so that means this corner should be safe. So it explodes. I was a little too far back, which is why I got clipped with this thing, even though I was already over here. You can kind of see, like, see how close this person was? So like, they were a lot closer, so they had more time to run into the thing. But because I was further back, I got clipped as soon as this one blew up. And so, yeah, this really does just take practice to get used to the timing and the spacing of all this stuff. But the idea is still the same. You run into the... After the first one blows up, you run into the safe spot. And then we had other people doing the same thing on this side. So they, like the 2-person, they wait for it to explode and then they run into. And then people on this side were also doing a similar thing. We'll see it again. We'll see it again later. Legio Phantasmatus. Is gonna have a little phase change. The boss is gonna go away. The authentic aura sight system has manifested an image of the black wolf. So we got this black wolf here. And you want to do damage to this one. It's one of those things, it's kind of like the Shinryu. I think it was the Shinryu fight. Or something like that. Where you can attack the heart or the tail if you did that fight. This is kind of the same thing. If you attack the black wolf and do a bunch of damage, then it will do more damage to the main boss like afterwards. Okay, so like I think I remember someone saying to save your burst for this part. Anyway, during this phase we're gonna get some little ads on the side and also one on the side. I think this is west. Yeah, this is south. It seems like it's always like that. Like after all the prog that I did it, they always show up in that way. But basically, you're gonna see little numbers, not numbers, but like numeric indicators above these things. So here's 1. The little limit cut numbers. 2. Okay, 3, and then so on. You want to find whatever number 1 is and go hang out near it. Eventually, these things are gonna start blowing up across the stage in the order that they start. So 1 is gonna start, and then 2 is gonna go, and then 3 is gonna go, like that. And so we hang out near 1, and then once 1 starts going out, then we walk into that spot. Tricky thing here though is if this is 1 and this was 2, then we can't really stand here or else we'll get clipped by number 2. And so then you can go on the other side instead, whatever number this is. If it's not 2, then you should be good. And then you can walk into it once 1 starts moving out of the way. See, like, the animation goes off, but then the explosions go after. So you have to wait a moment so you don't get hit with it. See how much damage they took? And they got a 1 up. So, see, the machine went across, but the explosions will follow afterwards. And you kind of just follow the explosion. So here, I'm waiting for it to see the fire stuff, and then I walk into it, and then I just start following the explosion of the line instead of like walking through this, because I don't want to get hit with the other stuff. Okay. And then there was this like little arrow thing, this thing. And so the thing that was sitting on the side there is gonna do an attack right in the middle. This thing, this Magitech thing. And it might seem counterintuitive to go where the arrow is pointing, but this one's gonna do a knockback. And so you wanna go to the middle and kind of angle yourself towards a diagonal so that you have more space to get knocked back instead of into the blue stuff. Oh yeah, there's also like this little plus sign on the ground that you can maneuver yourself to, like, and adjust to, if that makes it a little easier. There we go. This person died, I think, because did they have full health there? Okay, now they had full health. They did have a vuln stack though. Let's see. Oh, they were standing a little bit further back from the middle marker. See, this is the marker, and they're like standing over here. So you kind of have to stand a little bit closer. And the way that they're angled, it's more like this instead of like this. You know what I'm saying? So they got punted into the blue stuff. There. Okay, so now the boss comes back, and then overcoming the synthetic oversight deals this amount of points of damage to the emerald weapon. Okay, so that's why you want to do as much damage as you can to that black wolf, so then it will do damage to this main boss. Optimize Ultima is the raid wipe. Okay, the tank buster thing, and so everyone else is also spreading a bit because we're gonna get those cleaves. Okay, Terminus. Okay, so this is the thing with the swords on the ground. There's 3 sets of them. Oh, no? It seems like it's holding onto it. Well, in any case, the thing is splitting, and so either the top portion is going to go away or the bottom portion is going to go away. And it looks like the top portion left, and so with the bottom here, it's going to do the expire like it did in the last phase. And so it'll be a big circle AoE, so we want to move out of the way. Okay, now these things are dropping. Okay. So, this is the first set, this is the second one, and then the third one will be in the middle, sure, for this configuration. We have this red puddle here, though, that we will have to deal with. The puddle will expand, and so you don't want to stand near that. Okay. That's pretty straightforward, right? First one was over here, second ones are on this side, third ones are this one. And I was slowly moving my way over to where everyone else was. I almost got hit with that, but then I went forward just a little bit, and then I ran into the safe spot. Let me tell you, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna try my best to follow everyone. But yeah, so they're waiting here for this to explode. Okay, so the other time we saw this, it was an X shape, which is why we could stand in this spot or down here for it to explode like this. You know what I'm saying? But this time, in this corner, it's a plus sign. You know, you can call it whatever you want. It's all rotated, basically, but I'm considering this a plus sign in this configuration X, okay, just for simplicity's sake. They're standing at this opening here instead of like here, because you'll get hit with this one. Okay, so the safe spot is the opening of here. Okay, but you don't want to stand too close because this is going to expand. So when I was running over, I got a little close. I got a little close right here, but it was fine. I didn't get hit with a snapshot. The snapshot was a little bit earlier, and so I was fine. But it sure startled me, and so I ran back a bit more, and then all of a sudden the second one blew up, and I was like, oh, and I thought I would just died. Like, I thought I was the one that got hit, but then that didn't happen, and then I realized everyone was running into the spot, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna move, and then I was able to make it. Okay, so if you don't know what you're doing, just follow everybody else. But really, like, logically, the situation is that the first ones that dropped were on the east side. This one, and so ideally we'd hang out over here or whatever, near the first one at some point. But this one is not going to be great because there's this red puddle. And so we go hang out in the safe spot here in this general area, wait for the first one to explode, and then go into that spot. It's different though if, for example, this middle set was the second one, you know? If this middle one was the second set that was gonna blow up, then it would be this, and then this. And so we might not have enough time to adjust into it. Instead, what you would do if it was 1, 2, and then 3, then you would wait over here, probably. And then this would go off. Like, you have to figure out where the actual edge is. So that would go off. And then this would go off. And then you can run in. If you're waiting here, then you can run this way, or you can run this way, out of the way of the last explosion. Okay. Ideally, you're paying attention to which one's gonna blow up next. And so again, because this is the third one that dropped, 1, 2, 3 over there, because this was the third one, we could wait here for a bit. And then as we're running over here, the second one blew up. I hope that makes sense. If this was 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, oh wait, no, that was what it was. Wait, no. If this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, then this would not be a good place to wait for the 1 to blow up, because as we're running, we're just gonna get clipped with this. So you have to find a different spot to hang out in, to go wait at. Okay? It takes a lot of practice to figure out the patterns and stuff. I know it like spans the entire stage, it's a whole thing. But if you're struggling with that, you could watch like other people's clear video, or just any videos really, to see that part, to get used to the pattern if you're concerned about it before running the content. If you feel like you have anxiety about trying, then that's one of the ones where I think studying what it looks like to kind of try to figure out the pattern would be useful, like looking at other stuff, because it happens so fast that it's hard to like wrap your mind around if you're not familiar with it, you know? Yeah. You know what? This actually spans pretty far, so it looks like you can't even wait there. In my little example of like waiting at the third, like if this was the second one, this is the first one, and the corner was the third one, yeah, it looks like it goes pretty far out there. So maybe you do have to just wait here, wait for the first one to blow up, and then wait for the middle one to blow up, and then you quickly run through, or something like that. We might see it again, so we'll see. Legio Phantasmatis. Okay, so we got the Black Wolf coming back again. Okay, full rank. We're gonna have to look at the side of the stage. All troops take your positions. There are troops out here. Okay. There are also those little robot ship things. Okay. The dudes are gonna run into formation. The magic flying thingies are gonna have their little indicator, the numbers again. So this is 1, this is 2, and so on. See this? This one is like zooming. Is about to run into position over here. Okay, and these ones are like running into position over there. So you kind of need to pay attention to these guys, but it's more important to pay attention to which number of the stuff is going off too. So with this, the situation is these things are gonna again zoom across and then leave like fire puddles in their wake in the order that the numbers indicate. So 1 goes off and then 2 and then etc, etc. The first time we did it, we were gonna hang out and then go into the number 1 column or row, whichever. But for this, we have this extra stuff of these dudes hanging out on the side, and there's a rank of them. And so it's a dude here, 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 and then there's like a gap, and then there's one here and here. And so the gap is where you need to go at some point. And then there's another line of them, here, 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 whatever, and then there'll be a gap. And so you have to adjust yourself so that you're always going to be between the gaps of where the dudes are. Like, so you can pre-position, but at the same time, it is pretty fast. And so you can react to the telegraph lines if you need to, but it happens fast. So I'll play it out just so you can see. And so we've got the things to see. They're like firing line AoEs this way, and then the explosion things are going this way. Okay. Alright, so that's what that looks like. What I am doing is running into the first gap that I see, and then I also had positioned myself to find the number 5. The very last set of numbers on here is the one that I'm waiting for, so that I have enough time to dodge all of these first. Because if you wait for the number 1 and you're here, like, if we use a strategy from the first time where you wait for number 1 to blow up and then you walk into it, it's not really gonna work here, because the dude's lining up. This is the safe spot, right? So if we wait in this column, then we're gonna have to wait a while for the number 1 fires to blow up and then walk into the safe spot. In that time, these guys are gonna start firing stuff, and so we have to adjust for that and then walk into it. But that means we also have to pay attention to the number that is next to the number 1 to see if it's gonna blow up next as we're running towards it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little more tricky like that to dodge, which is why instead I find the number 5 one, because it will take a while for it to start exploding, and then I handle this lineup mechanic first, and then I just run with it in the column, and then as soon as I see this one start firing, then I run into the next row up. I know I kind of use row and column interchangeably, but hopefully that makes sense with like the drawings and stuff. So we'll see it again. So I find number 5, and I'm positioning myself for number 5 here. And then I'm positioning myself to see where the gap is, so I just start there. I look at the telegraphs. Okay, it's like that. And then we're running this way because I did see that there was, in the second row, there was a gap around here. Okay, it can be hard to see, especially if number 5 is like so far away, but like at the beginning, like all the way here, I was on the lookout for these numbers, but I was also keeping an eye out on the side of the screen to see where the guys were lining up. And they line up one by one. So this is the first row, right? And then the second row goes in, and then the third row. And so I saw there's a gap here, and then I happened to notice there was a gap here, like that. And it might not look like there's a gap. It might be hard to tell, but when you see the animation itself, it's a little bit easier. Also, if you've progged this for over 5 hours, over the course of various days with other people, like you kind of get used to it. Yeah, for like a split second, I noticed that there was just a gap there. It was moving that way. And yeah, you'll familiarize yourself with kind of the patterns. It can go this way, or it could go that way, or it can go like this and then like this again. So it just takes time to get used to these things. So go to the 5th one, I start in the first one, first column, and then I'll run with it. And I keep running over, and then I'm getting out of the 5th row, because this explosion's right here, right? So I don't want to get hit with that, so then move out of the way. And the one right next to it already finished blowing up because it was moving that way. And then we've got this little plus sign here coming from this thing on the side. So I'm going to hang out in the little corner so I get knocked back into a corner. It happens really fast, so it takes a while to practice it. And I think that's also why it takes a while to clear this fight, because you got a lot of different prog points that people struggle with to learn and then to execute well, that kind of stuff. Okay, but we did a decent amount of damage to the boss, and so that damage was added to the main boss. Secundus terminus est. Some people are going to get X's, some people are going to get plus signs. Once the cast is over, these markers are going to plant themselves, and so like if they happen to plant themselves here, that means it's going to explode like this. This one's going to explode like this. This one's going to explode this way. This one goes this like this. And so through a coordinated effort, we want to move these to the outsides of the stage so that we have some safe spots. So plus signs will stay on like the corners. Okay, so like a plus sign could go here. So then it clips this entire like sides like that. And then so plus signs go in the intracardinals. Okay. And then the X ones go to the cardinals, because then it will go like this. And it will go like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. And then this one goes like this. 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 Like this. Okay. And then ideally we'd have a safe spot in the middle. Right here though, we had somebody with the plus sign right here, so that means it's going to go directly through the middle, and so you have to adjust for that. Fortunately, it's telegraphed, and so you can clearly see there's a line in the middle, so you can try to dodge that. Remember, these do expand, and so ideally you can wiggle your way into a safe spot. But if this plus sign was like off to the side instead, you can see, like you can imagine how that would be a lot easier for people to wait here. But let's see how we handled this. Okay, so this person was definitely in line with stuff, but we were all okay because the thing exploded there, and then here we had it like that, and so we were okay. Okay. Tertius terminus est. So there's the 3 sets of stuff. Okay, but it holds on to it. So now it's going to do a split. And the bottom stayed last time, and so this time it's the top that stays. When the top stays, it will do this side scathe thing. And there's a lot of glowing stuff happening right here. But there's like more noticeable glowing stuff on this side, and so that means this side of the stage is going to get cleaved. You can see it glowing, right? So it's glowing over there, like this little like backlight. This glowing stuff here. So you want to stand on the other side of the boss. There you go. So it cleaves that whole side. Okay, so then while that happens, here we got one in the middle, 2 on the outside, and then 3 is probably going to be these corners. But we also have a red puddle. The situation with this though, okay, I was standing in the AoE and that's why I died. The sword clamped down, I was standing in it. In this configuration, okay, forget the fact that I died. I was standing in it when the sword went down, so you don't want to stand there. In this configuration, the red puddle is going to do a knockback instead of expand. So it seems like when it's the top half that stays, the top half of the boss that stays, it will be a knockback. If the bottom half of the boss stays, it will be a red puddle that expands. And it even looks like the puddle is in a different place, right? So right here, it's kind of in the middle, whereas before, I'm skimming, let's see, is it this one? I think that was the first one. Hang on. I think it was this one. See, the bottom is out right now, right? And so see how this red thing is off center a little compared to the other one where it's in the middle? Okay, so when we get here, oh wait, here, see, I was legit in the puddle, so that's why I got slammed with this thingy, so I died. But the thing's in the middle now, and so it's gonna do a knockback. See, it did the little arrows radiating, and so people are standing close to it and they're riding the knockback into the safe spot. I know, that looks really chaotic, but so the situation. So I'd say that we avoid that, right? 1, 2, 3. Generally, we want to always hide in the third area. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why when you get knocked backwards, you don't want to get knocked back into the 2 area, because you might not be able to adjust in time. But at the same time, if you figure out your own strategy on hanging out around the 2 area and then going into the 1 area, that's fine. Do that. But the knockback mechanic is here, and you can utilize it to get into position. Or you can use your knockback prevention and just run into the position you want to wait at. So it looks like this person used their knockback prevention, their surecast, and then they're just gonna run over to their spot by themselves. Other people are standing close to this red thingy to ride the knockback back there. Okay, so 1 is gonna explode first, that's this, and then 2 is gonna explode, it's the cross one. It's the cross one over here. Okay, and then 3. And so ideally you ride the knockback or walk there by yourself to the 3rd area. Okay, so they're hiding back here. Ideally, tucked away back there. And then this first one is gonna blow up. And I think this person, oh yeah, they're the one, they had their surecast up, and I don't know why they're waiting there. I think they were concerned because everyone was stacked up, so they might end up getting hit with this. Yeah, they got hit with that because they hesitated. But everyone, well, maybe not everyone, but most of the people who rode the knockback into that corner survived that when the first one blew up, and so now you can see them running up into the safe spot, right? 2 is gonna blow up. The 2 on these sides is gonna blow up, and as they're running, 2 is blowing up, and then 3 will blow up. So they're running to the safe spot where 1 was before. So I know it's chaotic, but there is some logic to it, even though it happens super fast. And this is something, again, if it's hard to prog enough to like just see this stuff, then I recommend watching video footage if you need to. But oh, this is a nice clip here. You can see they were here, they rode the knockback, and then they're in this spot. And so this big ol' plus sign is the first sword blowing up, okay? So they were able to get directly into the safe spot. And then afterwards, the side ones are gonna blow up. Yeah. And then this next mechanic is the one where, with the arrow, you wanna go to the side. So you have the longest distance that you can run across, or get punted across, so you won't clip other people. And then ideally, the center will be safe. I held on to my raise right there because I didn't want to get clipped by anyone. Because even if you have the Transcendence, I found out that you can still get hit with one of them and get a knock. You'll get knocked back too. And then, like, I might not take damage, but I'll get the knockback, and then I might die. outside. I think that's what I was remembering, so that's why I waited to take my raise. Anyway, divide at Imperia. This is the tank buster, and we got a spread for this cleave. Okay, nice. Full power optimized Ultima. Okay, so this is probably the Enraged. Ah, so close! So close! Yeah, we did it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Enraged. And if it casted all the way, we probably would have died. It wasn't the cleanest, but it was really nice, you know? Really nice. It was satisfying, especially after, like, progging for so long. Because I think this is one of the first Shadowbringer ones that extremes that I tried to get footage for. I just happened to see it Party Finder, and I was like, dang, this is intense. There's a lot of work in here. So, yeah. And here, I see how much I had to explain with just like the one pool, or actually it was two pools because we died the first time in that first area with the orbs. With the orbs, we died. Where is it? Somewhere here. Is it here? Yeah, we died here, but the second pool, we were able to go through the entire thing. So that was, again, through a lot of effort, like learning the fight independently. And then I think everyone here, a lot of the people here were people I had seen like before my class. And so they clearly had a lot of practice too. And then, you know, over time you see the same people running the same content, and so eventually you'll get a party configuration of people who all just like know the mechanics, and they're just there to like try to pull it all together and work together and get the clear. And so yeah, it was satisfying being able to get the clear after that. So anyway, I hope that was useful, and if you go for this, good luck. That three set thingy is really hard. The orb mechanic at the beginning is a little bit hard, but yeah, hope you go well. I hope it goes well for you. Okay, bye.